Oops. Good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm here with the wonderful Gwendolyn, and our weekly co-host is Chris Edwards.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. We were just having a great conversation in the back office here. So much is going on in this doggone world. What the hell?
You can't. It's so overwhelming. You can't, like, we're past the point of, I can't believe this. We know that it's just going to happen, and it's ridiculous. So here's a little funny little tidbit. I told Ron I was in DC Tuesday and yesterday all day, visiting our friend Rex. We were just hanging out.
Yes,
and we were walking around. He was doing his photography that he normally does during the day, and I was like, yo, a lot of these buildings are empty. Like, we were walking past a lot of the state buildings and offices and stuff like that. And I realized all you saw was empty cubicles. I'm just like, it really hits home when you walk past a lot of these offices in DC, and the fact that he's laid off all of these people.
Yeah, they're empty.
It's obscene. And like, we went out there like around lunchtime, and you didn't see a lot of people on the streets, like a lot of government employees on the streets, like you normally would during the daytime. And it was beautiful out yesterday. So, it's not like it was cold and people weren't going to be out. It was one of those rare warm days you get in March, and you saw tons of tourists, but you did not see any government employees at all.
And again, not having the government employees no longer coming into DC is going to destabilize the whole economy, because all those cleaners people that got the clothes to get cleaned, or the laundromat people, or the people that were living in DC because maybe they had two apartment in DC, but apartment where they live, home where they live. It's going to be a trickle down. This is where trickle down does affect.
Yeah.
Because every one of those people that are no longer in DC are no longer contributing to those neighborhoods in DC.
Well, between the workers, you don't have, they're not supporting the businesses that are there. DC has lots of restaurants and bars and stuff like that that would typically be supported by all those government employees. And now you're not going to have that, It's really disgusting to see what is going on in this country. Oh, I remember what it was now, Ron. The United States was put on the human rights watch list as a place not to visit in the world. That is a first, and that is crazy. We've always prided ourselves on human rights. The fact that we are now on the list, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing.
Well, you know what I say. Absolutely. As they say, the insanity of it all. And the rest of the world is watching.
Yeah.
And they're saying America is no longer. And I keep saying over and over, people say, Ron, don't say it, but
no,
we are already in the early stages of a autocracy / democracy. And it won't be long when we see military people in our streets.
Yep.
And so it's going to. This
but
is where we are.
Here's the question, though. I really question, especially with now us fighting with Canada, basically. I wonder, because the military, they follow the commands of the quote unquote commander in chief, right?
Yes.
Are military people willing to go to war with Canada?
This is something that we are going to have what we call a crossroad, is because there may come a point where Trump orders Trump troops into Canada. And what happens then? What happens when that happens?
Well, do they follow those orders?
And exactly, do they follow the orders?
I think some of
Do
them
they
won't follow.
You don't
Hmm?
think you think some people won't follow?
Kenneth often talks about, protecting America against enemies, both domestic and foreign. And for
Yes.
those who are committed to that, I mean, he's been out for a while, but he's committed to that. There comes a time where they're like, look, you have to do what's right. You are here to protect the Constitution. Doesn't matter who the person is.
That's right.
There's loyalty
Right.
or allegiance to that person. So you may see something a little odd. Hey.
Well, the same thing happens when you see military that might be sent to New York or sent to Houston or sent to Dallas or sent to, places in Delaware or places in DC, and you have the military on the streets and saying, you can't go this place, you can't go that place. And something that this woman, I have something from her early setup on my page here. She was talking about that she's been reading about not only will they be putting military in the street once they go with the Insurrection Act, but the borders will be closed, that you can't leave the country.
Yeah.
Remember the old saying, they that build walls to keep people out are usually building walls to keep you in.
Yeah.
I believe that. I still have that childlike hope. It's not really even a hope. There is this belief that people talk about capitalism, and I do believe capitalism can be conscious. There's going to be a place where money starts really talking. You can only take so many lemmings over the edge, right? And it gets to a point where when you start messing up people's money, and let's just say that you do build the walls and people can't get out. I believe that's when people start to kerfuffle. Now, that may be where you do that whole martial law thing and what have you. It's going to get out of pocket. But it's like I was telling you yesterday, Ron, there's more of us than there is of them. People coming in or blocking a door, you just bum rush that bitch. Like, it's one person. Like, seriously, there's 1,000 of you and like 3 of them. Do the math. But people are not at a place. They're not at a place where they want to be inconvenienced or what have you. This is the time to act up, because what else do you have to lose? You lost your job.
Okay, so I think this is a great transition, G. The fact that, there's only one of them and then there's thousands of us. Let's talk about Gavin Newsom. The fact that here's this man that was fighting for democracy and standing up and suing the Trump administration. And look what he has turned himself into now. I mean, and we're starting to see a lot more people like that. The fact that there was 10 Democrats that voted to censure Mr. Green. There was one Democrat that voted for the bill recently. Let's see what happens in the Senate. Does anyone actually cross the lines? Any of the Democrats, cross the lines and vote with Republicans? Not to shut down the government. The question is, like, what are these people doing? Like, this is the time to fight and to stand up for democracy and the Constitution, and they're kowtowing and quote unquote kissing the ring of this man, this feckle man. Like, he's a bully. Bullies really don't have any strength.
They have no strength.
They don't. They're always weak. And they're weak because the moment that someone stands up to them, they bow down.
Right.
That's always been the case with any type of bully in anywhere in this world. It's always been the case.
I've told you my story.
Why on God's green earth do they let this orange piece of shit dictate what's going on in this country?
I got to think that for some people, maybe there's been, again, some promises that they know are not going to happen. It's like, oh, if you do this, then we'll do this for you, knowing it's not going to happen. I don't know how many times you have to keep doing the same stupid thing. But I also say this, let's just say that some of those people decide to do it, right? Decide to vote with them. Besides voting them out, this may very well be that point where you do maybe another independent party that's not the Green Party, because that it's not going wherever it's supposed to go.
Mm-hmm,
This could be that one to really create a people's party. This could be it. It's like, clearly you guys are not doing the job we have all voted you to do. So what we gonna do is do what we have to do and defend ourselves and whatever else. Like, it just makes no sense. Like, for all the talk about corruption and waste and fraud, all this fraud happening right now, y'all are quiet.
Fraud, corruption, deception. I mean, we have an auto mall on the front lawn of the White House. They're selling Teslas.
And you know Trump didn't buy not one of those cars. He said he's gonna buy a car. He ain't buy no car. Are you kidding? No one would be a fool to believe this man's gonna buy a car, a Tesla. I mean, please, that man has never driven a car in his life. God dog it. Anyway, let's say hello to some folks. I see some folks in the building, and while I'm saying hello, I'll bring Elise on because she's in the backyard there. There she is. She's back. She's in the front. She's
good
in the
morning.
House. Good morning, Elise. But let's say good morning to some folks. I see first in the building was our wonderful Hannah. She says, good morning, Ron and Chris and Touch Base Daily family. We got Rashawn in the building. She says, good morning, Ron, Chris and Touch Base Daily family. And number 3 in the building was Anthony. He says, good morning. And then we got Day Sava. She says, morning. And we got Bryson. You know what that means. Got to get a drink. Here we go. What's up, Ron? What's up, Chris? What's up, Gwendolyn? What's up, RLP fam? What's up, CQ fam? Happy Law and Order Thursday.
Yes.
After I spill my drink on myself. Then we got in here, Rashawn again says, good morning, Gwendolyn. And then we see here, we got everything in DC from restaurants and bars. Yes, we got everything there in DC from restaurants and bars, says Bryson. We see here, how's it going? And let's see here, haircuts. Okay, got that in there. Here's DeSaver says, he's on to be on the list of associated with or war crimes because of Ukraine and Gaza.
Yep.
Wow.
And what he doesn't realize is that him doing all of this, making our allies our enemies,
crazy.
Those people, like the President Zelensky, is even more popular now.
Yes.
The French Prime Minister is even more popular now, and their status in the world is going up. Like other countries, like Africa, are looking towards these countries now, to help prop them up. What he's doing is giving China a way into these countries now, because typically America was the front runner to be in these other countries. Now that we're no longer looked at as number one on the world stage, China can slowly start to push its way in.
Well, they've already have. Like I said, when I was in Nigeria, just now going on 6 years ago, 7, 8. No, now it's 8 years ago. Wow, 8 years ago.
Fine.
China was already in Nigeria. And when you go to all different parts of the country, you go to Ghana, you go to South Africa, you go to Namibia, you go to Zimbabwe, China is already there. And you go to Ethiopia, China is there. You go to Uganda, China is there. You go to all the countries on the east, China is there.
Well, listen,
in Africa.
Even in Jamaica, China basically, like all of the infrastructure in Jamaica is built from China.
Yes.
All the highways in Jamaica, a lot of the construction with the hotels, they're using funding from China, not from the US. It's all from China.
China is not only the reason why a lot of these, well, they're not really scared because they're still sticking with Trump. The Chinese are also in Panama. They're also in a lot of Caribbean countries. Also, I do believe, I have to double check this one. Someone have double check it for me. I do believe they were in Cuba. Something was going on they were working on some kind of arrangement with Cuba. So this is what we are. And now, because of Trump, now America is totally off the map. It's kicked off for good. Because guess what? No one will ever trust the American people again. Why? Because again, Trump represents the people that put him there, which are the people of the United States of America.
And here's the thing. I think that they would have forgiven us for the fact that we elected him once, But the fact that we put him back, well, I only say we because I didn't vote for him.
But the country,
But the country
generally
put him
speaking.
back in there. It says something. It says, this is what you believe in, what you want.
Yes.
So, okay, now we can't
Yes.
trust you. Can't trust you.
We can't trust you as a people. We can't trust you as
Yeah.
a people. And so therefore, so now, for instance, when they had the last trade war with Canada, slightly a little bit of a trade war with the farmers, those markets went to Brazil and I do believe Chile. So Canada started now trading with Brazil and Chile to make up for the markets that were lost in the last presidency. So guess what? After this fiasco, they're not doing business with America anymore. Why would you? Why would you send your products to the country, your neighbor who turns on you and is still threatening you to become an annexed state?
It's like your best friend doing something awful to you, and like you don't understand why.
Yes.
And there's no explanation. It's just like, well, what did I do?
And if you're going to do this to your best friend, your neighbor, what the rest of the country says, well, if they're going to do that to them, what will they do to us? We're not even their neighbors.
Yeah.
Elise, go ahead. Throw in. I see you in there.
Look, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I listen to all this goodness. Yeah. And what's interesting is like, doesn't BRIC still exist?
BRIC does exist, and
Which
BRIC is getting
includes
stronger.
Russia,
BRIC
which
is
includes
getting
Russia and
stronger.
China, which is to weaken the American dollar, right?
Yes.
So they're still out there, and Russia and China just having a good time right now.
Yeah, they are
Absolutely.
having a
All
good
of
time.
this. China, the whole thing that you mentioned with soybeans, that was a soybean. They just found other sources of getting the soybeans. They're gonna
That's
find
right.
other sources of everything. And then Chris was talking about Gavin Newsom. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I have no idea why he's talking to these people and what the point of all of that is, unless he's trying to position himself in a different way. I don't even know.
But
Well, see, Elise-
the thing is, my thinking is that doesn't put you in a better position to become
doesn't.
president.
It
Oh,
doesn't.
I'm sure that doesn't. It's just like, but Chris, go ahead.
No, here's the thing. I want to respond to what you were saying. Like, I can, we say that, oh, why are they talking to these people? It's okay for you to have conversations with the people, but hold them accountable, hold their feet to the fire. Don't sit there and agree with them when you know they're wrong. Literally a month or two ago, you were sitting there fighting with them. You've been suing this man left and right. And all of a sudden I was like, well, it makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
And I did I haven't listened to the podcast before, but I've heard some clips from it. And I was like, what is it that he's agreeing
What's
with?
the
and
point?
He's disagreeing with? That's why I said I don't understand the point of it all, because when you listen to it and you agree with something, and then you may say something to now my phone ringing to go along with that. But that's the whole thing, right?
Man, I don't get it. But again, we were looking at Chris and I were looking at Don Lemon before we came on here, and we talk about Newsom and saying, what's the point? Why are you cackling and hacking and chumming it up with someone that's a racist, someone that's a bigot?
Yeah.
And why are you chumming it up? Why do Democrats feel like they have to go right to win votes? And they don't realize that's why they lose votes. Because at the end of the day, Black men, I know I'm a Black man like myself and people of color don't trust white men in the Democratic Party because they kiki it up with
shit like that. It is shit like that makes you not want to trust them even more.
You can't trust them because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, they're still white men. Now, that's not saying all white men. I'm talking about white men politicians.
Still.
Right? They don't have the ability to see the big picture. Your base is mainly people of color. And think about it, and like this 79 million people voted for Kamala Harris. 79 million people. You would think you would be building on that 79 million. You should be going all in for the 79 million and then building out. Elections is all about attraction, not
Yeah.
subtraction.
Could it
And this
be?
is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Could it,
Yeah,
no,
go ahead.
well, could it be that he's trying to do the play both sides thing?
That's
Like,
it.
I'm going to be
That's
somebody
it.
who's in the
But
middle. So I am
it
going
doesn't
to
work.
go attract these other people who are like, whatever. Again, you'll be losing the people who really believed in your message. But for me, all that says is you're not really here for the people. This is all about you.
You're not.
It's about you, your power, your greed. So go on and put him to the side. I don't know why it is so hard for folks who claim to have an attitude of servitude to just do the damn job. How hard is that? Do you have to compromise on some things? Yes, you always have to meet in the middle, but you don't have to sell out your morals or your values. That's never that's not in the job description. It's just not. That's why people think of politicians as being scoundrels and people who are corrupt or what have you, because you always flip-flop, and there is compromise, and then there is I am standing on business.
Yeah.
And what he's doing is it's ridiculous, but it's another day in America. That's how I
It's
see it.
another
And here's the
day.
thing. I think him trying to lean more towards the right does nothing to them, because here's the thing. The people that are quote unquote MAGA loyalists are never ever going to vote for him. He's never going to gain any
You're
of those
never
votes.
going to get
So
those
all you're
people.
doing is losing votership. You're losing. You're never going to get those. So what you're doing is futile. That's futile.
Man, oh
But anyway.
man.
Before
ahead,
you
go ahead,
go, though,
Gwendolyn.
before we go, because you talked about those walls, and you and I talked about it. I'm gonna say it again. So we're on this watch list. We've already seen some people being impacted by travel from Canada,
Yes.
right? Mexico is doing its things. How far does it go? Like, really, how far would they allow this to go? Because when people stop traveling to the US, everybody gets impacted. There are
That's right.
cities that are just about travel. Now, Ron, Chris, I'm a cruiser. Gwendolyn cruiser.
Yes,
Yep,
you
same
are.
here.
Ain't
Yes,
nothing
you
like
are.
bringing in money
You
than
and Chris.
a ship full of people.
Yep.
When that ship does not roll into these ports, and we've seen ports that raise port taxes, they miss that port. They lower the taxes. So now you telling me that we're on the watch list, and some of them who even operate here may say, you know what, maybe we can't operate out of the US. I don't know. Like, what is that? Like, what does it really look like? Like,
No,
how
think
far
of-
will this foolishness
Yes.
go?
Think about it. Like when other countries start saying, you know what, that ship is coming from America, we're not going to allow them to dock in our ports. One, the cruise ships will start to lose money, and then these other countries will
Yep.
be impacted, because a lot of these ports, the people rely on these ships coming in. But if you can't trust the country in which it's coming from, yeah, that ain't happening. We have to remember, we live in a global society. This whole quote unquote America first thing is such a charade.
It's a
It is such a
charade.
charade, because we do not live we are not an island. We are not an island. We depend on everything from around the world for America to sustain life.
Oh, well, okay. So let's just go ahead and take it to like the very base level. Half of the stuff, well, I'm not even going to say half. I'm going to say maybe 3/4 of what the average consumer buys. It's not made here.
Yeah, we don't make things
If
here.
you really wanted
don't
to
make
do
things
made in
here.
America, then you would pay the extra funds to get things out of this country. Like we do still have some pretty damn good cotton. There
And
are
I will be
t-shirts
picking
and
it.
jeans.
But we don't
made
make
here.
phones. We don't make phones. We don't make
We don't make
electronics
phones.
here.
We don't make TVs. We don't
We don't make that
major
stuff
electronics.
here.
All right, we put the cars together, but the parts do not come from here.
No,
Listen
they
to
come
me.
from all over the world.
You think we have a housing crisis now?
Huh?
The majority of the lumber that we use to build this country's housing
Steel and aluminum.
and steel and aluminum
Yes.
come from Canada.
Yes.
Now, I don't know who it was that showed. There was a map that someone showed. It probably was on Don Lemon, where they showed, I think it was like 70 to 80% of the lumber comes from Canada. And there's a reason why it comes from Canada, because the lumber is harder there because of the climate where it is grown.
Yes.
We can grow lumber here, but it's not as strong. And when you use inferior lumber to build, you have it's easier to burn, you have bigger fires, and you can't get the same money for a home. So Trump wants to think that, oh, well, we can do it here. No, we can't.
No.
We rely on other things from around the world to do and to build this country up.
Well, yeah, we can talk about some wood. Like Ron and I know about Scandinavian fir, and
we know about Scandinavia.
The stronger the wood.
Because
we
it's in the
wood conversation.
Well, because the wood is
conversation.
But Gwendolyn, we know because we used to work with fixtures and furniture that was from Scandinavia.
Yeah.
So what's great about these woods is because of the climates, they're more resilient.
Yeah.
Because they're in the northern part, they're part of the Arctic Circle, right below the Arctic Circle. So this is, again, when you have a stupid person running the country that has no ability to understand from others. Remember, every great president, all the good presidents that they, have done biographies on, the common thread of the best presidents were that they understood the importance of their cabinet and making sure that they had the best people around them. You are no stronger than the people around you. That's why great leaders hire smart people. Dumb leaders want to shine as the smartest person in the room, so others become inferior.
Okay, can I throw out something else to that? If you take the leader out of it, let's just look at Americans themselves and the people who believe that America needs to be great again, the people who subscribe to his mindset. It goes back to, in my opinion, people who are just struggling with being mediocre, being less than, being insecure. They never met their potential, whatever that is. And so instead of you saying, let me work harder, you make everyone else the reason why you can't do what you do. Your president doesn't really impact that much, not for the average consumer, right? Like really think about it. Mm-hmm. Your view of the world, the fact that so many people are like, America has done this and America has done that, and we should start taking care of our own. I don't know where you got that from. Like, where are you getting this idea from that people are coming in and taking your jobs and I just can't have this? And like, what are you talking about? You have to be pretty. Ooh, what's the gracious word? I can't find it.
Don't be gracious. Go ahead. Just do it.
You have to be simple to really sit in a place and believe that everybody else is the reason why you are in your world failing. That's simple shit. It is. That's simple. You believe that taking down pictures of things that have already happened in the past, removing flags, banning words. You are banning words because you are that insecure and that ridiculous and that mediocre that I don't even want to hear the word. What's wrong with you? Why not just say, damn it, man, I need to get my shit together. I need to get in some books. I need to get a skill and get out there and get it. Everybody else out here is grinding. And you
Dr.
just says, I have this.
Before you guys go, Dr. Taji says exactly. These people are mediocre, and so they blame others for their mediocrity. As the saying goes, if you are only tall because you force others to their knees, there's a serious problem. Woo! I love that quote.
Now listen,
if you are only tall because you force others to their knees.
Was that Toni Morrison who said that?
I love that quote.
I remember. I can't.
Dr. Tachi, is that you or is that a quote from someone else? That is a good one. That is a good one.
While we figure that out, let me just say this, and this goes to Gwendolyn's point. Look how long it has taken for us to get like Confederate statues taken down. And look how quickly they have ripped up Black Lives Matter Plaza in DC.
Yes. Be clear, America has never stood on its own from the inception. So get rid of that rubbish line of thinking, says Dr. Tachi. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. They went to town this weekend to tear down the Black Lives Plaza.
taxpayers' money to tear that road. It's not like they painted over the street. They're
They
actually
said it cost
digging up the road.
$60,000 to tear down Black Lives Matter Plaza. It took $60,000 for them to take
This
it
man
apart.
did not want to see the word Black Lives Matter down the street from where he resides. That's all this is about. His insecurity of Black people.
FRR, welcome FRR. I don't know who FRR is. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, if you're here for the first time, make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the likes and also join in the conversation. I love posting your conversation and putting your words up. So share your words. Okay.
May I add one more point before you go on, Ron?
Go ahead, my dear.
Speaking of the wanting things given. So back to the military.
Yes.
There was a discussion recently about the trans people in the military and the whole separation, these of that nature. When you look at the numbers of people who have taken the ASVAB, there's a lot of women who have taken the ASVAB and passed it. There are a lot of Black people who have taken the ASVAB, men and women, and passed it. But when it comes to white men, one, they have no desire to be in the military. They do not want to serve, and they have the lowest test scores. Now, you either going to lower your requirements on the ASVAB, or you're going to just have a military that's missing some holes and stuff, because the folks who want to serve this country are the people you want to kick out. I am done.
So, well, my thing is, see how that works out for you. I mean, you're already basically you want to go to war with China, with Mexico, with Ukraine, and God knows who else you and probably Greenland. Who are you going to get to fight on the front lines if you've already you've kicked out all trans people? You probably want to get rid of gay people, and you probably want to get rid of all the Blacks. White people aren't signing up to be in your military. So you know what? As a matter of fact, get all of your MAGA friends, enlist them, and send their asses off to fight for this country, because that's what it's about. Ron, you're still muted. You're muted, Ron.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I said put them all on the front line. I said, look, because my thinking is, why would I let my Black son or Black grandson or anyone that wants to be a person of color be in the front lines of a military that don't want them there, that think it should be only white people?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Anyway, Lisa says, my heart dropped this morning when I saw that they are going to be deleting pictures. So even when a new president who has since come in, he can't reinstate the photos because Jackass has deleted them.
Well, not necessarily. Think about it. There are still a lot of families who have pictures. That's why we have our pictures. There is a dear friend, Dwayne Rogers. A few years back, he had a project where he wanted to collect Black family photos and the stories that came with. That's right. Of photography, both printed and digital, because you can delete whatever you want to delete. The history is still here. Those war heroes, their families, they have those photos, just like they are right now trying to find people who can read cursive for the archives to transcribe all of that. History will not
crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I have a question about? And I rode past there yesterday. Will they try to close the African American Museum and all those museums that aren't not dedicated to white people?
Now that is what they already getting rid of the funding, so that's to be determined. I wonder, are they going to try to close down all of these African American museums that have cropped up over the last 10 years?
I mean, look, they took over the Kennedy Center, and now all the people that would have been celebrated there want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, just make your own. I love a good table. I walk into all the spaces knowing that the good Lord put me there, so I'm not concerned. But there are times when just make your own. Have your own. I think it's great to want to be everywhere, but have your own. There was a young man last night who created an art space called Kinfolk. Make your own. Perhaps is what we need now. If they want to shut it down, shut it down. It don't mean that we don't have all these other spaces that we are not currently visiting. That's just more spaces to support.
Well,
tell your own story. Otherwise, someone will tell it for you.
Well, I want to also do something like this. This is gonna be like our rapid fire. There's some wonderful postings that took place over the last 24 hours, and I wanted to bring them to your attention. And because they bring things that are happening since this is Trend Watch Thursday. Here we go on the first one. I want you guys to hear this, and this is very, very important. So listen up for this one right here.
Somebody that you know that's from Wisconsin, even if it's somebody you just met that one time. Remember that one person that one time? Think about them. Hold them in your head. Send them this video. The most common question I get asked in my DMs is, how can we fight back right now? Not 4 years from now, not even at the midterms. How can we fight back right now? I'm about to tell you how. And I want to keep it short, sweet, direct, and to the point. I want it to be as clear as possible. State Supreme Courts can fight the constitutionality of federal laws. Even though Wisconsin went red for Trump during the election, conservatives are down a seat in the Supreme Court. There are 4 liberal justices and 3 conservative justices. One of the 4 liberal Supreme Court justices in Wisconsin is stepping down, and there is currently an election to see who is going to replace her. That basically means there is an election to decide who gets the balance of power in the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Maybe you're not paying attention to this, but you know who is? Elon Musk. That's why he just poured millions of dollars into this Wisconsin race. And Elon Musk and Donald Trump have picked a candidate, one that they like, one that they're supporting, one that they're giving money to. I'm not going to put him up here. I'm not going to raise his name ID, but they got their guy. This is an essential part of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, not just getting their priorities passed, but implemented in states. Are you following me? Do you understand what I'm saying? This is Judge Susan Crawford. She's running against Elon Musk and Donald Trump's candidate. She is pro-woman, she is pro-choice, and she is pro-worker. You cannot pour 7 figures into this race to support Judge Susan Crawford because you don't have 7 figures to pour into this race. You can do 2 things, though. 1, you could just share this video completely free and send it to somebody that you know from Wisconsin. The more her name gets out there, the better chance she has of defeating Elon Musk and Donald Trump's candidate. 2, you can click on the link in my bio and donate $5. Less than the price of a Chipotle burrito. You've been asking me, what can we do right now to fight back? Now I'm telling you what you could do. In politics, a pile of sand becomes a beach. A little win here, a little win there, a little win there makes big wins. That's how we take back power.
Nicely done. Nicely said. Nicely done. So the most important thing that's happening right now, for those that don't know, is the Wisconsin election for the Supreme Court. And this is one of the biggest battles for us as Americans. What he's just said is that Elon's putting a lot of money into this because if that Wisconsin court swings, then they can go back to changing also the election lines. So that they were able to redraw the lines under having the Democratic majority. But they need to get this guy in there, one of the Republican folks that they're Elon supporting and Trump supporting, because they want to redraft those lines and also to gerrymander those, for the election. So if you want to, again, people like he just said, how can we affect change now? We need to be, elections are today. Wherever the elections are now, we need to be diving in and supporting those elections wherever they are in the country. But right now, the most important one is Wisconsin. So get it in, go Google, research it, look it up, try to understand what are the pros and cons to winning that election, because we need the Democrats to have the majority on that Supreme Court. Supreme Courts are the ones that determine and interpret law, right? So important.
You know where we went wrong? When they took away the campaign finance law restrictions.
Yes.
Look at Elon Musk just pouring in all of his, I'm not even going to say earned money, stolen money that he's gotten from taxpayers,
gifted money
that he has now using to elect the people that support what they want to do. Let me tell you some people continue to protest Elon Musk, continue to boycott Tesla and anything that he's associated with, because that's helping. Elon's Tesla stock has fallen, I think, 50% within this year alone.
Well, in America,
he is losing,
in Europe, it's 76%.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's losing not millions of dollars, but billions of dollars. Let's bankrupt him.
The only way is to bankrupt him. Exactly. Jay-Z says, I actually think it's the opposite, because if they got there by merit, they wouldn't be able to question others. They wouldn't need to shut down these programs. This is trying to read catch up on some of these quote statements. Lisa says, America needs to do like Australia and limit the amount anyone can give to $20,000. Yep. This is ridiculous. It is absolutely true. That's why they were trying to break it. That's why you saw Bernie Sanders for many, many years preaching about making sure that there's a limit. And we're going to talk about Bernie in a little bit. I'll say, okay, got that. Dave Saver says, I'm getting a lot of email from Democratic platforms to support elections in Florida. Yes, that's another one. Yeah. We need to be looking at that Florida election. There are 2 congressional seats up for grabs. And yes, they are in red districts. Oh, sorry about the balloons. They're in red districts. You saw that balloons? There's the balloons. Anyway, and they're in red districts. They're in red districts, so we need to be investing. It works when you don't want it to. Exactly, Chris. You know how I've been trying to get that thing to work for the longest.
Yeah.
And Dave Savage says again, I beg to differ. Elon didn't steal that money. They gave it to him through government contracts. Yes.
Well, that's what I mean when I say steal, though, because that's what I meant by it.
And,
doesn't mean he went in and stole it, but yeah, he's getting our taxpayer dollars.
They say and attach are some types of penalties, not necessarily monetary, because they can afford to pay that. Exactly. Bryson says just in that Tesla cars got torched up and burned down. Yes, they are burning some of these places. Yeah. Okay, so the next one I want to bring to your attention. This is another, because we're going to do some rapid fire here. I think will help you in what's trending right now. Let's go to the videotape. Hold on a second, quickly, right there. And this is something that is really good. And then it's going to take us to my next one. My next thought here is Tim Walz to launch national tour of town halls in Republican House districts. Now, a lot of us have been saying, where are the Democrats? Where are the Democrats? Well, there are 2 Democrats that are out there going from place to place around the country and going into Republican districts and talking. One is we'll get to Bernie. Bernie's one. Bernie's been on a move for the last 2 weeks. Tim Walz just announced yesterday that he is going to start launching. He's been to a couple of places, but now he's going to be in full gear going into these places, because you have to explain to these people. And since these folks are in these red states, I mean, obviously he's a Democratic governor, but his state is mainly red. So he's able to move around and talk about this, what's happening. Also, he shares the border with Canada. So he's able to express what is going on. If you ever heard Tim Walz speak, he speaks just like the folks on the opposite side of the border of his state that are in Canada. So where are the Democrats? Some of them are beginning to step up and step out, and this is what they need to do. If Republicans are no longer doing town halls, and they've been told not to do town halls, this is a vacuum. This is a perfect vacuum, getting out there and supporting. So Tim Walz just announced, and I would like to say, I know people are saying, Kamala needs her rest and all that stuff. I think Kamala should be out there on the stomp, because one, I know if this, I see she's saying no, Gwendolyn says no, but I believe that she should, because it will prove her, it will show that she's not in it just for the politics of it all, but that she is in it for the people. And I think, and I really do believe, she could win if she went back in and ran again. I really do believe if she came back on the scene that she could win the election. that's coming up. I really believe she could, but you cannot show up when the elections are in election season. This is the time you go to and make your town halls. This is the time that you go to the different places around the country in red areas and begin to talk to these farmers, talk to the people that just lost their jobs. Anyway, that's my belief. That's my thought. Yes,
as a Black woman, I am telling Kamala to take a seat, take all the fucking stadium seats. Black women have for years been telling people what is going on. I don't want to hear that you want me to be out in some town hall telling you everything I just told you months ago. That is a hell no. She don't owe them not a damn thing. We don't owe them shit. We have done that shit. And as a matter of fact, it's not like there's a whole book that told them what was happening, and yet and still they voted with their identity. Man, fuck them people.
Yep.
No,
I have to agree with Gwendolyn 100%. I agree with you 100%. She should take off whatever she's gotten and go relax somewhere. You know, let me tell you something. This is the punishment phase for America. You ain't. What do they say? Those that can't listen must feel. They need to feel.
But don't you think
That's
maybe
where I'm
this
at
would be a
with it.
great opportunity for her to go into Black communities
we
and
are
go
done
into
saving the day,
people of
Ron.
color and start talking and sharing and beginning to develop a relationship with the core people of the Democratic Party as well?
Are you serious right now? Are we serious?
I'm very serious.
Universe?
I'm very serious.
No,
As someone that loves politics.
Her job. She did her job. She told them everything that was supposed to happen, that was going to happen, that is now happening. And check it. They don't care. They don't care about
the same thing.
They're only upset because, oh my God, it actually impacted me. What I lost my job. How is that possible? They don't want to talk to her. No, ain't nobody saving nobody.
What about the Black community?
No.
No, you don't think Kamala should go to the Black community either?
No, not a one. Not a one. There shouldn't be a Black woman anywhere except for them others who feel like they was something doing anything. No. She should be on a beach getting all the Mai Tais and getting a tan. No, she don't owe them nothing.
That's what's great about this platform. We can agree to disagree. But I think personally she should be in the Black community. I think she should be in these communities that were the base, building relationships, because I really do believe I would like to see Kamala run again. Me personally. Now, maybe she may not want to run again. Maybe she's like, I'm done. I'm finished with that. But I would like to see Kamala run again.
She owes us nothing.
She doesn't owe us anything, but I would love to see her run. I think she would be a great president.
I still believe
let me tell you something.
She can take a rest.
Yeah. Hillary told her what was going to happen. Kamala told her what was going to happen. A lot of Democrats and progressives told her what was going to happen, and they still chose to elect a convicted felon. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. You've got felons that can't get regular jobs, but yet and still this country hired someone who's been convicted of 34 felonies and put him in the highest seat in this country. Let that just wash over you like a bad feeling. Okay?
Let it wash
I'm trying to be... Yeah, let's let it wash over you. Like,
let it wash over us.
Oh, child.
Let's see what the community says. Okay, so we got obviously. I believe she should. I want to see Kamala run again. That's just me. I would love to see her run again. I would love to see her in Black communities. I would love to see her in people of color. I would love to see her at the Democratic base, building up the base, shoring up the base. And then going out and spreading that out and attracting. Okay, let's see what people are saying.
A lot of people are saying that she should sit this out. I'm looking at the comments.
Let me see what's going on. Oh, Jazzy says, no, Ron. and Dr. Tati says, nope, Kamala did her job, but everybody else do theirs. Okay, I'm with you. Chris says, they say she's contemplating running for governor of California. I don't think she should.
Yeah, I heard that.
Mimi says, exactly. I see here. Mimi says to Gwendolyn, yes, Gwendolyn. And I see here also, Kimmy says, they have left it to the people to get their stuff together. D Savage says, no Black people need to stop hating on Black people. Okay, I got you. I'm hearing you. Mimi says, yes, Dr. Tachi. Jazzy says, she's got the 100, 100, 100, 100. Dr. Tachi says, let's not forget that she has also been vice president for 4 years. So she's been serving for years on top of the Senate seats she had. You're right. Right. I get that. Okay. Jazzy says, facts.
Girl, go enjoy your life.
Day 7 says the Black community needs to quit clowning about her background and her education. Bryson says, we don't have
shit.
Kaz says, if she plans on running again, if not, someone else needs to step up. Just a thought. Day Savage says, listen, and quit talking about her husband. Kimmy Kim says, yep, we are already there. Everyone else needs to get up to speed. All right, y'all. Oh man, you guys are chiming in. Charlene says, I believe Kamala just sit this one out. Okay. This okay. Zach Saber says, I'm done with the caps.
Yeah.
Dr. Tachi says, no, 92% stand down. Don't do a damn thing. And Charlene says, I believe Kamala should sit this one out. And then Ron, we go on.
You are outvoted.
I'm outnumbered in this community. Lisa says, Chris, yes. I almost thought you were going to say, see you next Tuesday, but then you said country.
Oh.
Day 7 says, Ron, she would have been a wonderful president, but clowns don't think that way. If you look at social media now, they are still 10 toes down for the clown. You got it, Mike. I agree with you there. Bryson says they about FAFO. They're about to F around and find out they don't want a woman to be president, white or Black. Woo!
Yep.
This is a fiery chat today. Woo! You guys are rolling in this comment box. Make sure you hit the likes as you chime in. I am Miss Reese says he showed us before who he is, and they didn't believe him. Charlene says, as Black women, which she endured, she shouldn't put herself through that again. Okay, you guys are chiming exactly, G. Okay, Hannah says, Ron, I'm with Gwendolyn. Right, Bryson says she's want to run for governor in California. Dr. Tati says, Ron, no problem. You can go out and do it. No one's stopping you. Black women should rest. Lisa says, you skipped my comment, but they need to check those machines. She definitely won this election. I did
see that, Lisa.
I know it in my heart. I believe it. I believe you.
Yeah.
There has
Lisa.
Been statisticians have said that Kamala, they saw anomalies in the election votes. They just can't find the smoking gun. They know something took place.
Listen to me.
They know Lisa, it, but they can't find the smoking gun.
Lisa said it right there, and I've been saying it, privately between certain groups of people, but I think it's going to come out later on. And this is not about being a conspiracy theory, but I believe that when all the dust is settled later on, it's going to be found out that Elon had a role to play in it. Because let me tell you, Trump always says the quiet things out loud. He says, there's no need to vote for me. We already won. Elon knows computers and he knows what he's doing. I mean, this is what he said.
He said it, quote
always
unquote.
Believe you when he says these things, because he is always projecting. Always.
Okay, more statements from the group. Jazzy says, I will say this as well. Kamala is and has been in the community helping with recovery efforts from the fires. So she's not just chilling. All right. And Warren said, hey, Warren, it's nice to see you, Ron. I agree with Ron. We need a person like her. It does not have to be she owes us something. If that's the case, then why did she run from the beginning? Was it because she owed us 4 years service?
No, it's no. When I say that, I'm not saying because we feel as though we're owed anything. It's just about, you know what, girl, you've done all the things. You need to go and take your rest. You don't have to come and
I
do
hear
this
you.
for us and the country. You owe us nothing. You've given us everything. Your entire life has been about service.
And she served all her life. I
Being the
agree.
lieutenant, she's been a lawyer and the lieutenant, the head
No, she's
person
an
of law
AG. She's
in
been
the
the AG.
governor. Right. She's been in Congress for many years. She was the vice president before. She owes us nothing.
She needs to take her break. I get it. Okay, you guys. Okay, I'm yielding.
Go
Kimmy
West,
says.
girl.
Kimmy says Gwen
Yeah, Gwen
got us hype.
I'm gonna get you hype,
Yeah.
all right. I'm gonna get you hype.
Yeah. Come on now. Now we need some
Lawrence said,
confetti. Now we
is
need
she
some
going to
confetti.
take her ball and go home forever just because she lost, or is she going to stand up for what she said she believed in? Okay,
She
Warren.
can do other
Whoa,
things,
whoa,
but
whoa,
she's
okay,
doing.
wait.
No, she
May
can.
I? May I? And I understand what Warren is saying. Here's the problem, though. It has always been that, and I'm coming from a Black woman's perspective, Black women always have to save the day. And when things don't go, like when people don't support us, don't do X, Y, Z, it's like, well, why aren't you helping us out? I did my job. There comes a point where Black women need to stop saving the damn day. We are done. She's had a lifetime of service. She was the VP. And even with all of that, they were like, I don't know what she stands for. I don't know. Is she?
She's not qualified.
We don't have time for that shit. Those days are over. These are the same Black women who are caring for people's white kids. They're nurturers. They're always saving everybody. They're super women. We are done. So we can definitely take all of the stadium seats, watch this bitch burn down, and be okay with it. I'm okay with it. I got popcorn machine. I got my wine every Friday. Okay. We don't owe these people not a goddamn thing. Really. But I will say it does not escape me that when stuff starts happening, it becomes, well, we're the Black people. We're the Black women. We are done. Done. And we should stop requiring it of Black women to come save the day. That is a no. Get out there, have your town halls, and get your people together, because it wasn't most of us anyway who didn't do right.
D Savage says, let's face it, she's more than qualified for whatever she chooses to do, but people are hating on her for being competent. Kimmy says,
well, that's what they always do.
They better figure that out, because no election in the future will be trusted. And Chris says, facts. And Jazzy says, again, they speak a lot, the things they have and will do. Lisa says also, did all y'all hear when he said they rigged it for me? He said it. He effing said it.
Yeah.
That's what, yes, he did.
Yes.
He did say
Yes,
it. And D Savage
did.
says, I agree about the smoking gun. They didn't think to look for it. And then look what happened. We were too lax because we didn't think there would be a problem. Lonnie Boy had something to do with it. We know. Charlene says, what we are essentially saying is, honey, take your rest. We see you and we know you worked hard. You earned that. Lisa says, she is the most qualified presidential candidate ever. And this is true.
Yes.
Hear me every ever. I see Charlene says, Gwendolyn, my mom is listening, and she said, oh, I like her fire.
Come on, fire.
Come on, fire. The Savage says, no, she isn't. She's still going to be on the front line. And Kimmy says, she is smart and fair. That's why we need her instead of dumb and selfish. Jazzy says, that part, Gwendolyn. Okay. And Mimi says, say that, Gwendolyn. Man, you got a fan club.
Gwendolyn's
here,
on fire today.
She's on fire today. She said, and Shirley says, I, Team Gwendolyn, all of what she's saying is absolutely truth. D Savage says, respectfully, I disagree. If we are done, we can't stand on the side and watch the inferno because the inferno will burn on us too. We are done, but we are going to have to save the day this time.
I want to say something in response to that. Now, I can understand where you're coming from, but here's the thing: when there are forest fires, sometimes you have to just let it burn. And when you allow it to burn, it wipes everything out so you can have new growth. We're at a point now where we need new growth. So we just need to let this motherfucker burn. I'm totally with Gwendolyn. We need to let this bitch burn to the ground so that we can have new growth.
And you know, it's
That's where I
interesting
am
you
with
would say
that.
that, because I have been to several forests. I've been to forest fire, like aftermath of forest fires in Colorado and also in South Africa. When I was in South Africa, we went on this tour. We saw all these forest lands that were burnt out. And he said exactly what you just said, Chris. He says, we let the fires burn so it can continue to burn out all the old weeds, all the old brush, all the old, anything that's old and that can cause fires in the future. The reason why you don't have major fires is because they allow the fires to burn. So I know, obviously, because we have people living in these places in California and places like that, but in other places around the world, they let the fires burn so that way you can get new growth. And when they say when the forest fires are gone, the sun hits the earth and brings forth all new vegetation. And it was quite fascinating when I actually got a chance to see that. So you're absolutely right, Chris. That is a true statement.
So
okay.
I want to switch to something just slightly. I want to talk about this. I don't know if you guys talked about this week, but I want to talk about Representative Sarah McBride and the hearing that they were having. And the fact that this congressman misgendered her, and then another congressman stood up for her and asked him, "What did you say?" Here's the thing: people will say, "Well, why didn't she fight back?" She didn't have to, because this has never been her fight in Congress. She's fighting for people's rights. She's not fighting for quote unquote trans because she's trans. She said, "Thank you, Madam Chairperson." That was her dig back at him. But then she, the other congressman was like, "Well, you know what? If you can't respectfully call out this person, we don't need to be having this hearing." And then they gavelled and walked out. The misogyny, the sexism, the transphobia-ism in this Congress is disgusting. You were there to do a job. You were placed there by the people that elected you. Stop with this bullshit. Stop trying to demean someone just so you can gain some cool points with your people over there. That mean absolutely nothing, because that does nothing for us. We don't get anywhere. But I just look back that another congressperson stood up for her, and then the fact that she was tasteful in how she gave a dig. Like, let me tell you something. People in the community, we know how to give digs. So don't come for us.
She was quick with it.
I see.
Can we add the saving grace to this? Because I saw DeSava's comment. So here's the saving grace. Instead of, and this is going to sound like this is segregation, and then I don't know, it might be. But instead of trying to save everybody, it's like I've been saying, get you some good people, get back to your roots where we operated as a village and a community. The world could be burning around us. It's not like we haven't been here before. So last night I had the chance to hear from Opal Lee's granddaughter. And she shared the story of how 500 white people burned them out of her parents' house when she was a child, 12 years old.
Yes,
burned it down. She got that house back. Was it last year, I believe, for $10 from Habitat of Humanity, right? We've been here before. We have seen massive fires. They have been doing things for years to either drown us out, bomb our communities. Fine, do it. We can take care of our own. And I know that sounds awful, but it's not. Because we adopted this way of life that, again, is not sustainable and it doesn't work for us. Get back to what you know. Get back to your community. Get back to supporting your Black farmers. Get back to supporting Black art at Black galleries. Do what you have to do. The world will always be burning around us, but it is time for us to stop saving the day. The same women that they say are angry and awful and attitudinal are, again, in their house raising their kids to where they're calling us auntie. So I don't want to hear how we're too hard to love and all this other foolishness. No, create your community pod. You're gonna have to stick together. We're gonna have to get through this together. If you're on an island, get off the island, get you some good people. You're gonna be all right. God gonna take care of you.
And that, I think, is we'll have to close it there. I will end it there because there's a lot to talk about. But that is one of the major things that is coming out. And when people say they're going to let the whole place burn down, they're not saying that about the Black community or whatever community you come from. Because while this country is burning down, we are investing in our own and the people that support us, right? So, like, for instance, people are going to Costco's. Even Costco's is not Black owned, but Costco is supporting Black initiatives or DEI. So we know who our allies are. We know who the ones that support us as people, as a country, as advancing us forward in a positive way. And so that's where we're going to put our energy. That's where we're going to put our focus. And so while this country's burning down under Trump, we will be investing in teaching locally. Like Gwendolyn was teaching yesterday, and she got a little bug there from teaching and helping those young folks. But teaching, if there's no if there's no Department of Education, right? That doesn't mean we don't educate. That just simply means, like Gwendolyn tells me all the time, that just means we're going to have virtual classes online. We're going to have virtual schools. We'll have schools in the neighborhood. We'll go back to like when I was a kid. You had classes at church teaching phonics, teaching education. We would go to church to learn education, right? So the churches will start, maybe some of these Black churches and white churches and Spanish churches that are in for the cause will wake up and say, wait a minute, we need to get back to the basics. We need to just because they're going to stop giving us education or funding our education doesn't mean education stops. We will continue to educate. We will use this platform to educate. We will use whatever we have to support the initiative of bringing people forward, whatever color they are, whatever part of the education they are at, we will support. Okay? Woo! This was a good Touch Base Daily, y'all.
This was
Gwendolyn
a
set
very
us a
fiery
fire.
one.
Woo! She set us, like my buddy in Atlanta always said, I always tease him, he goes, a fire. You set us a fire.
She cracked the whip today.
She cracked that whip. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
being. Well, and this is how for those that don't know, this is how Gwendolyn, myself, Chris, we all talk. We are just straight shooters. And at the end of the day, we're still friends and we still love each other because we can all have a point of view. But we also take the moment to listen because it can help us be educated, and shift our positions or inform us to build on our position. So there you have it.
So listen, before you jump off, I just want to make a comment about Lisa. Lisa was talking about how the billionaires are selling their shares. We should definitely have that as a topic for tomorrow because they know what's happening.
Oh, that was
Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett. Well, let's talk about tomorrow because that could be a whole episode on its own.
That is very much so, kiddo. Very much so.
Thank you for that, Lisa.
Yes. Okay. I did not set it up. So okay. So we'll definitely have it for tomorrow. And we're gonna definitely talk about that. That is so important. And I'm starting to get my cues from Warren Buffett. I always seem to do, and I'm gonna be looking at it's time to sell some stuff. So we'll be doing that, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Thank you, Lisa, for that. That was really good. Billionaires have sold their shares. Okay, we'll talk about that tomorrow on our Focus Friday. Dr. Taji says, I love Miss Opal Lee. I had the pleasure editing and interviewing between she and my good friend. All right. And I see a lot of, look at you guys, all the hearts and the love and the 100%. I hope you guys enjoyed today. We had a good conversation. I'll have to see about joining in next week. Yes, Brian, we're more than welcome. Give me a call, Brian, and then we'll have a great conversation. Okay, and Lisa, Mimi, Lisa, yes. Okay, so we got all of that in, and One more. Dr. Andy Saver says, no Department of Education, USDA funding. They have just FAFO because their children are the benefactors of that program. Exactly. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Girl of fire.
I stay ready.
Fire.
I ain't got to worry
You-
about getting ready.
Right. You ain't get up. Yes, right. No one ever told you to get ready. You come ready. Am I going? Is it gonna work? There. Oh, wait. How'd I get the fireworks,
They only
Chris?
saw the one.
Got the,
Two of them.
I thought it was two. What's that? It doesn't know what to do. This.
Well, you have to stay still. You have to stay still with it.
Okay. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. We got it going on. Woo!
Oh my God. All right.
See you guys tomorrow. See you. Love you. I'm out.
Bye-bye.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.